So one of my favorite things to do end of year, starting around Thanksgiving, is to think about Roth conversions. So what's a conversion, right? This video is going to talk about what's a Roth IRA conversion, why it makes sense to do, I think, when you should think about doing it, how to minimize the income tax that goes along with doing a Roth conversion, and then ultimately, what are some of the advantages or disadvantages of doing a Roth conversion? So let's start out with the basics. What is a Roth IRA conversion? So it's pretty simple. It just means you have a pre-tax IRA, and a pre-tax IRA means that once you're hit 59.5 and you pull money out, you have to pay income tax on whatever you pull out. But if you have a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, so long as you're over 59.5 and the Roth's been open at least 5 years, whatever you pull out is tax free. So obviously the goal is to try to minimize what the conversion amount is, because the less you're converting, the less tax you have to pay. And on the back end, if you have losses or other deductions that could limit and reduce the tax liability you owe the IRS, then that's a win-win-win. So the two things to consider for Roth conversions is, how do I get the lowest value of what I want to convert? And the second, obviously, is, do I have enough deductions and losses to eat up any of the tax I owe? It's important to understand before you kind of engage with this is, what's your tax bracket? So why does this matter? So let's say you make $105,000. Okay, so you're in the 24% tax bracket. That means you essentially have from 105 to 197 to stay in that tax bracket. Meaning if you want to convert under 90,000 or 95,000, you can do that and stay in the 24% tax bracket. But if you want to convert 100 and now you go from 105 to 205, now you go from 24 to 32%. So that's 8%. So you maybe want to convert a little this year and a little next year. Converting assets like property valuations are paramount. And what that means is you convert based off the fair market value of the asset. So if Apple's trading at $100 and you convert one share, you pay tax on $100. But instead, if Apple was trading at $70, you pay tax on $70. So kind of guessing / timing the conversion is important. You don't really have to guess. It's more about a timing question. So you want to have a strategy. And the strategy is, what am I converting? Okay, if I convert Apple, and I believe Apple's going to go up over the next 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, I want to potentially convert it at the lowest possible price now, because I'm going to hold it for the next 5, 10, 15 years. And if it's in a Roth, so long as I'm 59.5 and the Roth's been open at least 5 years, it's all tax-free. Okay, so that's my long-term strategy. Same with Bitcoin. I'm like, I think Bitcoin's going to go up 10x in the next 20 years. So I'll convert it at hopefully a reduced price, depending on where it is. Let's say it's at 90 now, and I think it's going to go to 300,000. Then converting it at 90 or 100,000 would make sense. If I didn't think Bitcoin was going to go above 100,000, then obviously I wouldn't convert Bitcoin at 100,000, right? So you have to have a strategy. Now, the nice thing about converting assets, it's unlike cash, is there's something called a discounted valuation strategy. And if the asset's a liquid, or if you invest in an LLC that owns the asset and you have a minority interest, you could potentially get a discount of anywhere from 10 to 50%. Why discounts are attractive is obviously you pay less tax, right? You still get to convert the asset. You get an opinion, shows that you get protection from IRS penalties, and you hopefully will get to convert at a lower price. The next important thing is, can you pay the taxes, right? I can't tell you how many people call me up. I talk to them and say, Adam, I'm going to do a Roth conversion. And I go through the whole spiel. I go through everything I just talked about. And then I say, okay, you're going to owe $80,000 in taxes. And they're like, oh my God, I can't pay that. I'm like, well, don't do the conversion, right? You have to know what you can pay. There's no penalty for conversions. Anyone can do conversions. Starting in 2010, there's no income limitations for conversions. You just have to pay income tax. Not capital gains, but income tax. So, of course, you got to be able to pay the tax. Now, how can you reduce the amount you owe? I said maybe a discounted valuation. Maybe you convert, get lucky on your timing. Bitcoin went from 110 to 90. And then thirdly, if you have NOLs, net operating losses, or maybe a lot of deductions, that will reduce your taxable income. For example, I met a client who has real estate, and she was telling me that she wants to do a conversion. She's 62 years old. She wants to start living in this property. It's a really nice piece of property in a really nice geographical location. She's like, I want to retire there. I want to use the property. And we know with an IRA, pre-tax IRA, you can't use it. So she said, I want to get into Roth because after 5 years, I'm just going to pull it out myself. And eventually I'm going to use it. But for the next 5 years, I don't need it, but I want it to be in Roth because if I do potentially sell it before using it, I can get tax-free gains. And then potentially, if I want to use it, I can just pull it out because I think the value is going to appreciate dramatically over the next 5 to 10 years. And she said, guess what? I've been funding this new business for the last 7 years. I have $280,000 of losses, and my accountant says I can use them going forward to eat up any potential income tax. And the good news is I don't really make a lot of money now, so I have a very low tax bracket. So if I convert this asset that's worth around $750, the 280 of my NOL is going to eat up all the tax, and I'm going to owe no tax on the conversion. And then I'm going to take a pre-tax IRA asset, move it to Roth, which is super valuable, and then in 5 years I can just take it tax-free, or I can sell it tax-free. I have more options. Why shouldn't I do it, right? Because I have the NOLs to eat up any potential tax. I said, yeah, of course, you should do it. It makes a lot of sense. I think the only other thing to remember is understanding your strategy. Okay, that's the last thing I want to talk about, and I talked about it before. This is all you. There's no right or wrong. 500 times at least, people are like, should I do this? And I'm like, I can't tell you. There's no right or wrong. And I hate when lawyers tell you that because it's like a CYA, right? Like cover your butt. There's really no right answer. You want to know what your income tax bracket you think will be when you're older, right? Because let's say you have $100,000 in a pre-tax IRA and you're a school teacher and you think once you retire at 70, you're not going to work and your income's going to be very low. Your house is paid off. You have no debt and you have a very simple life. Then your tax bracket will probably be around 12, 14%. So maybe doing a conversion now doesn't make a lot of sense if your tax bracket in 20 or 30 years will be 12%. Whereas like me, I'm going to work till I die. So I hope my tax bracket will be in the maximum range, 30 to 37% till I die. So a conversion now could make sense because I'm going to shelter all my future gains and income from tax by doing a conversion today and living off my assets after 59 and a half tax-free. So a lot to juggle. Again, another reason to work with IRA Financial because this is the kind of stuff we go through with you. We're never going to say, oh, go hire a lawyer or accountant. We're going to help you navigate these rules, conversion rules, prohibited transaction rules, distribution, contribution rules. If you want to learn more about Roth IRA conversions, self-directed conversions, 401k conversions, call us, chat us. There's no one that knows this stuff better. So we're here to help. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.